Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning back into Off Track, episode 11. Today, we have a couple special guests with us and 4 microphones. I figured it out. Woohoo!
Told you.
Josh, if you want to go ahead and introduce our guest today.
Yeah, so I'm very excited. We got Johnny Martinez and Gray Hernandez, 2 of our top agents here at ERA Estrada Real Estate. I'm going to let them go into a little bit about themselves. I know Johnny, he's got a military background. With Gray Hernandez, she is probably one of our top marketing agents around the world. I say, and I still believe this, and got robbed. So I'm gonna let Johnny start us off, man. Go ahead and tell them a little bit about you, man, and how you got into business and.
Okay. Well, I did 20 years in the Army. I'm originally from California, so anyway, I started doing real estate in '97. And the reason I did do it is because when I was stationed in the military, as I was retiring, I was remember all the people that I met and all the places I've been. And I really wanted to do something where I'm still working with people. Not necessarily helping, but just working, right? I wanted to be around people. And then my wife remembered my realtor saying, hey, I think Johnny would be really good at real estate. And at first I didn't want to do it, so she pushed me into it, so I started doing it. And then as I started selling to guys and group when I was in the military, I go, dang, I'm pretty good at this. So that's basically how that started. And so throughout my career, I progressed up to the top of the real estate chain. I think I've sold almost maybe 2,800 homes, been one of the top realtors since I started to presently. I did over 10 million last year. So that's how I got into real estate.
I love it. And Gray?
Just like Johnny, I'm also from California, Los Angeles.
Same place.
Same place. Same.
Did you guys know each other beforehand or no?
No. Look at our age difference.
Yeah. It was fake.
He was already doing stuff. I was barely getting out of high school.
I think you were in Texas, weren't you?
Huh?
Because you moved to Texas for a little bit, Johnny, didn't you? For the military?
Yeah, well, my dad, I come from a military family, and my dad, he's retired military. So, yeah, originally I started in Texas. Yeah. Well, we're from Los Angeles, but I joined the military in Texas.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So while he was starting real estate here, was it 98?
97.
97, 98, I was doing property management in California around that time.
Where were you at in property management out there? Doing high end?
Yeah, it was. We call them properties are designated into A, B, C, and D type properties. A type are usually high rises, with a lot of amenities. B types, a little bit of garden style, fewer amenities. C types are about usually 50, less than 100 units, and then the D type would be the ones that are owner managed. They own them themselves. Usually roughly between 1 to 25 units. So the ones that I was doing were about 300 units. Some were high rise, some were garden style. So it depends on the company that I was with.
So I love your story, Gray, because you did come here from the Philippines, and you didn't have it just an easy route to get to where you are right now. And I would like you to just kind of elaborate on that a little bit more and the future that you've got, and even bringing your brother over here and getting him started and having him see fuel for the first time.
Yeah, sure. So, growing up in the Philippines, having spaghetti and ice cream, it wasn't something that we could eat every day. That was something you can have when you're invited to a birthday party. I mean, literally, I don't eat fast food because of the reason why I didn't grow up eating fast food.
Right.
Even if I can eat it now, my palate just isn't there. It was always considered a treat. And I still remembered I was invited to this birthday party, and the kid who invited me, he was my classmate. He had a swimming pool. And because my family were not well off, we had to sit on the sideline and watch the rich kids swim in the pool. So, now that I've, successful in my career, I added a pool in my house that I don't swim in. Only because, you know what? If I wanted to have a pool, I can swim in it whenever the hell I want to.
Right.
Was that always a goal for you? Was that like one
Oh
big
yeah,
thing? It was like one day I'm getting a freaking
yes,
pool.
I would doodle. I would doodle what my house would look
Really?
like.
Really?
I would doodle my career. I doodled everything in that paper. I think I was 8 years old, and because I remembered it was me and my other friend, and we're like, okay, so when do we get to jump in, right? Because everybody's there, and the maid was like, oh no, like you guys don't get to go in, like.
That's
Yeah.
what they said that
Yeah,
to you?
like those are only for like you guys can eat with them, but you don't get to swim with them. And I was
What?
so young and I was so confused.
That's
I was
awful.
confused. I'm like,
Well, hold on,
wait,
so go back. So why did she say that? Like,
because we weren't like our family was not rich.
so she said it's like we don't want to like filthy the pool with your.
No, it
brook.
wasn't filthy
Like-
the pool. We just our social status just wasn't there.
Jeez.
Yeah. And in the Philippines, I mean, it was back then. It was just kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, we were young. I didn't know any better, and I was like, oh, okay. But I mean, it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
And I remember going home that day, and I was like, wow. So my aunt asked me, she was like, so how was the pool party? And I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, I just kind of looked at them, right? I just looked at them.
That's
But
pretty shitty right there.
no, but you know what? That drove me to what I am now.
Right.
Experiences like that. And I mean, sure, it hurts, right? But I was 8. I was young. I just kind of,
Got over it.
I wasn't physically hurt. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
So, but it was enough for me to say, when I grow up, I never want to be treated like that.
You
So
should
do you-
invite all the people from that party out.
Yeah,
and
to
say-
a pool party and not allow them in.
I know.
Just
and,
like close the pool off.
And it's crazy is, now that I'm in places that I never would have dreamt to be in, like
Mhm.
places that I'd be invited in. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
now I have a listing that's 1.7 million. Like never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I would be in with people. I mean,
Right.
back then it was like you drive at a restaurant and you're like this because you see the people who are dining in fancy restaurants who are rich or either in politics. I mean, it's kind of like the same in other Hispanic countries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they're rich and they're the only ones that can afford to be in such places. And now here I am, like if I want to eat steak, like I can literally go to Masters or whatever.
Right.
So I don't take my blessings for granted at all because I know what it's like to not have any. And I think it's one of the driving force why I work so hard because, I don't want to go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand poverty until I have what I have now. And then I'm like, oh, wow. But, it's
Couple things. Do
Mm-hmm.
you think that's where you got your motivation is from that pool party?
absolutely.
And do you still have that book?
Which book?
The one you doodled in?
Oh no, I don't have it. But I remember. Like I
Yeah.
remembered I wanted a house with high. Like in the Philippines, high ceiling homes is
Mhm.
like what rich people have.
Right.
And I remembered I said I want a high ceiling home. Like I wanted a pool, and I would draw my little matchsticks and me in there. And then I've got some. I don't know if I added like a chicken. I don't remember. But
chicken.
I remember there was birds. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Was it around that time that you also realized that real estate was something you wanted to get into, and when did that
No,
start?
no,
Like,
I
what was your
knew-
original plan?
So when I had envisioned what I was going to be, with my house, with my car, I had envisioned myself as a career woman. Like I wanted to climb that corporate ladder. I wanted a corner office. I wanted to wear high heels. And back then, Barbie in the Philippines was when you see Barbie, it's like she's everything you'd ever want to be. She's got nice clothes, nice shoes, makeup done right. I mean, this bitch had everything, right? She did. No, she did. And so for me, it was like,
And she had Ken.
well, see, I didn't really put Ken in the picture. Like I was going
Right.
to do it with or without Ken.
Right.
So I always wanted to have I wanted to wear and
Right.
I think even when you first met me, I was always wearing high heels. Like
Yeah,
I was
wearing
always
heels.
wearing.
You got high heels
stilettos.
on right now.
Well, that's right. And I've always wanted like that. So when I got into property management, and that was by sheer luck, by the way.
Mhm.
My first job was actually working at Panda Express, and I remembered I smelled like freaking
Oh,
orange
orange chicken.
chicken. Like I smelled so bad. Like when you
I
take
like
off
Panda
your
Express.
clothes, yeah, when you take off your
I know
clothes,
the
But you don't
feeling.
wanna
like,
work there.
"Ooh,
I don't want
I-
to work there.
I used to be a busboy over at Hooters, and oh my gosh, dude,
Yeah.
my clothes reeked.
Yes.
Every
Yeah.
night.
I get it.
Oh,
I worked at
smelled
a barbecue
awful.
restaurant and it smelled like barbecue, and I don't eat barbecue anymore
And I
because
was
of it.
16 years old, and I was just happy to have a job. Like my
Yeah.
friend just hooked me up,
Yeah.
and I was there for maybe 6 months. And then my aunt, who was managing a dry cleaner in Hollywood, was like, "Hey, do you want to work at my place?"
Right.
And she's like, "But it's not gonna be family stuff. Like you're gonna be an employee." And I said, "Okay." So I was there when that was about, when I turned 17 or something like that. I was with her for maybe a year and a half. And, I mean, we were like in Hollywood. So you see all these like D-listers, C-listers, right? Because A-listers, they don't go and drop their stuff off. They've got people dropping it for them. But you see all the Hollywood life.
Right.
And, they drop off all their fancy clothes and you're just like, wow, some of them were like designer. And, I was like, wow, when am I ever going to afford this? And I was with her for about a year and a half. And then my friend at that time, she was managing a property in Fullerton. Well, one of the leasing agents had left, so they needed a leasing consultant. And, she was like, if you want to turn in your resume, go ahead and do that. She said, but just know that we're not friends.
Right.
And everyone has made that known, like, we're not friends. Like, I'll give you an opportunity. I'll open the door for you. Yeah, I'll open the door for you. How you manage to stay in and on that interview, that's on you.
Gotcha.
And I love that because I think friends should open doors for you, but not necessarily hold you.
Just give it to you.
Correct. So I mean,
it's not like a handout. It's just an
no,
opportunity.
and it's really true. Like who you surround yourself with, you just never know how many opportunities are around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's always stuck to me. Like it's what you know and who you know and all that stuff. But for me, who you know will open opportunities. Mm-hmm. What you know is what keeps you behind that door.
Yep.
Because you can have a pretty face, but how long is that gonna last if you don't know shit, right? So then when we did the interview there, I started as a leasing consultant. I got hired. It was like, I think I got paid $14 then. And, I got the perks of getting like rent
for free or whatever
it
month.
was
Or half or
was
whatever it was,
yeah. And then 2 years after, I got promoted to be the assistant manager. And then 2 years after that, I managed the entire building. That literally blew my mind. Because now, you've got corporate people coming from Texas wearing suits and all that. And I was thinking to myself, holy shit, what I wanted to do is now coming. Like I'm in this high heels. I get to travel to Houston.
It's coming fruition for you.
Yes. And then, I got married into the military. I mean, no offense.
Hey.
I am. Fort Bragg.
Welcome home.
Yes.
That brings us here.
No, and don't get me wrong. Like I love if people were going to give me the opportunity to say, hey, we'll let you manage blah 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 in LA. No, I would not trade my life here. Like I love where I am now.
There's a ton of money you can make here. I mean, Johnny can speak on that.
Yeah.
I mean, how much money do you think you've made over your career, just off the top of your head?
Almost $9 million.
Yeah. So I mean, there's money to be made in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's like a small pond.
Yeah.
And there's still so much more opportunities. I feel like people don't really tap into it.
Mm-hmm.
They have all these businesses like Panera and all that. I mean, now you have these 2 Korean joints that just open.
I saw that.
I've been to one of them.
Yeah, and they're doing well, and we don't have enough of that.
I haven't been to them yet.
Oh,
I
you
haven't
need to
either.
go. It's really good.
It's really
Because I know you tell me about it. I know.
Watch your knee when you sit in. I banged my knee on the grill under
Well, I
the
heard it's
table.
expensive. You got to go. Lunchtime is cheap,
No,
right?
No. Okay, so I think it's $25.
What,
but
for
it's
lunch or dinner?
for dinner, and it's
Okay.
all you can eat.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
that part. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it.
That's nothing really.
Oh.
Wait, is it
That's-
17?
no,
No,
it's
I'm
not.
sorry. It may be. I think it's $17.
I thought it was
No,
40.
Where, is this the
It's
one?
more than
Is this
that.
the one in the mall, or where's the? I know
It's
there's one by the
It's
mall.
right next to Navy Fed.
Where the one Goldie
Okay.
place used to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you actually, if you've never been there, you go in and you're like, holy shit, it looks like the restaurants in K-Town. In LA, we call it the Koreatown, K-Town. It has that vibe.
Yeah.
And it's not just the meat that you get; you also get soup. Like you
Oh,
make
really?
your own. Yeah, it's. I mean,
okay.
it's for me. It's definitely worth it.
I need to try it out.
It's great.
You can eat at your heart's desire, like for real. They
I know.
have fish.
So you got to be hungry.
Well, Gray always takes me anywhere we go somewhere. She always takes me to some kind of like Asian place,
Yeah.
and I'm normally not that big of an Asian person as far as like the food wise. Like Japanese is
love
like
Asian
Japanese
food
is
so
normally what it is, and I have to figure out what I want to eat. And then the last time when we went to Miami, I was not feeling that great. And she says, "Hey, why don't we go here?" And I was like, "Damn it! All I want is a friggin' cheeseburger right now.
Yeah,
Can
no.
we please not
you
go
saying?
here?"
Because I didn't grow up eating cheeseburger. You know what I mean? Like I grew up eating rice. So for me, breakfast rice, lunch
Rice.
rice,
Yeah.
dinner rice.
Hell, we eat rice.
Well, I mean, I love
Yeah.
rice. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but like when I'm hungover or something like that, I'm like, I need
Oh
something
no,
greasy.
I crave for like pho noodles when
Yeah.
I'm hungover.
But it's still good though. I still like it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So, and again, I don't take my blessings for granted, and I'm sure you don't too, But
No.
I think there's opportunities everywhere. You just have to be really open to seeing it. And sometimes I think what happens is people give up too easily.
Mhm.
And just they're told no, and then they're like, okay, well, fuck it, it is what it is, And for me, I'm like, what do you mean no?
Yeah.
No, like we can't do it, or no, you don't want to do it, or no, there's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's like I shared this in our leadership meeting the other day. You always have to be failing forward.
Right.
If you're failing forward, you're learning from everything, all the mistakes, and not to go back to that. And I always like that.
I'll
Failing
remember
forward.
that when I trip up the stairs. Next
Yeah,
time.
failing forward.
You
Failing
broke
forward?
it. Your
Yeah.
nose broken. Shit, I fell forward. What Josh said.
Not
with your
falling
nose
forward,
your
failing.
nose all bleeding, failing forward. Got it, Josh. Got
But it's
it.
good though. It is.
No,
I mean,
it
you,
is.
you learn from it.
You don't learn until I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I wish somebody would have, taught me when I started real estate, but you learn along the way, you're like, some of them are costly mistakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you definitely know the next time, like, that ain't happening.
Yep.
Because, mistakes may not cost you money, but sometimes it costs you time you're not going to be able to get back.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to learn from trial and error.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
times did you fail, Johnny? You think?
Many times.
Yeah?
Yeah. You're not.
So I
You're
got
not succeeding if you're failing.
Yeah.
If you're not
I got a
failing.
question
Right.
for you if you're comfortable with answering this. So you talked about how much you probably made over the course of your career. How
Uh-huh.
much do you think you lost? Like,
Oh, how
a
much
good
money have I
question.
lost?
yeah, like how many times did you because I've always heard about horror stories where like somebody they like a deal didn't go through and they basically lost out on like a $300,000 home or something
lost
like
a-
that.
I lost a lot.
I've lost
Yeah.
a lot. I mean, I've probably met over about 10,000 people, but you just have to keep moving forward, and you just have a goal. You set a goal and try to sell as many as you can, and try to meet your goal. And so if I'd done 3,000 versus 10,000, that's pretty good.
How was the beginning of your career? Was it kind of like easy going, or was like the first
No,
couple years just awful?
Well, back in '97, that's when the cell phones first came out, and there
Yeah.
was no. Well,
Did
there
you have the
was a-
car phone?
Huh?
Did you have a car phone?
No, I never had a car phone.
No.
No, I had a pager, and then I got a cell phone, and it was the big flip flop with the
Yeah.
long antenna.
Yeah.
And then we had the real estate book, which was in black and white.
Oh, my
I don't remember an MLS. There was we had an association, but I don't remember an MLS. So back then the public didn't know anything. They had to come to us,
Right.
and so I was in a little company, and I was the number one. And my first year, I sold 20 houses. And it was mainly because I was still a full-time soldier and a part-time realtor. And then as I started selling, I got excited. I don't know what overcame me. I'd never sold
paycheck?
anything.
The money?
Well, I saw my first,
Money.
no, what happened was
What
I saw my first check, and I was like, dang, there's more than my base pay.
Yeah, that's usually what it goes.
There it
And
is.
I don't know. I just got excited. I just went crazy. Became a workaholic. And then so I put my retirement paperwork in, and then I was on a little company. And I had to teach myself, because in a little company, nobody's teaching you anything.
Mhm.
You have to learn by trial and error.
Yeah.
So you're learning as you go along. And then actually, I was just top producer, and I was gonna stay there, but he didn't give me the commission I wanted. And really, I only wanted 65. He was giving me 60%, and I was like, okay. So then I called Dave Evans over at
Yeah, I know David.
Floyd Properties. And I don't know if you remember this, back in the late 90s, Floyd Properties was the largest builder in Fayetteville, and they were one of the bigger companies. So I went over there, and the Floyds would pay half of your advertisement. So because of that, I had full pages in the Homes and Land, the real estate book, the preview. So the public, if they wanted to buy the house, they had to get these magazines, and so they saw me all the time. And as I built my business up, I understood that branding was important, which it still is today.
Yeah.
And so I started doing shopping carts. I put myself at the Carmichael 15. Everywhere I could stick my little happy face, I did.
You ever put yourself on a billboard?
Yeah, I did. I
Yeah.
did billboards
Yeah.
too. And I did golf courses where the tees at. They would have my little advertisement on there.
Did you put your face on like a golf ball? Is like
Oh
smack
no,
my face?
no, I didn't do that. But I mean, I was out showing houses with flashlights at 11 o'clock, and I was so excited. And but speaking of what she was talking about, when I became a realtor in '97, being I'm a fourth generation American and Mexican descent, so there were only 7 Hispanic realtors, and
Really?
so yeah, there were only 7 out of 714 realtors. How do I know that? Because on the book it had how many real estate agents there were. Yeah, they actually had that on the back of the real estate of the book we got every 2 weeks.
Right.
So anyway, now we got tons. But so I, obviously as I went up, I wanted to represent. Trying to.
You're bilingual, correct?
No.
No. Really? Okay.
I mean, I can speak a little Spanish.
Okay.
But I'm not.
Come in for you. I ain't never seen him speak Spanish
No.
one time.
No, well, I feel like what's going on in this country right now. The average American doesn't understand the Hispanic culture and what's going on. Basically, because the media has portrayed us that we all just got here yesterday and we're all Mexican. Right. And the truth is, we never left. Mm-hmm. And so, so when I was a young kid back in the 70s, I was a teenager in the 70s. My mom and dad spoke Spanish fluently, and they did not want to teach us Spanish because they didn't want us to have an accent. Because
really,
the way it was back then.
Same that's in the Philippines too.
That's
really?
That's different today.
Yeah.
Today it's different.
Yeah, now it's
today
like,
you can speak Spanish. Everybody, but back then, if you look at some of the movie stars like Wonder Woman, she's half Mexican. You never know. Yeah. So back in the 70s, if you were Hispanic and you were a celebrity, you changed your name. You didn't want, you didn't really want anybody to know who you were. So
really,
it was a different world, man. So.
Yeah. Nowadays, I'm trying to learn Spanish this year just because the amount of times that it would have helped me. And,
well, what's funny is that when I was a soldier, I was a linguist. I was in military intelligence, and I was a German linguist. And I actually went back to DLI to learn Spanish. So it was pretty good for a little while. But then when I retired, if you're not using it, you lose it. So
I can still you got to practice daily.
Yeah, I'm still like a level 1. Actually, I can still speak German and Spanish. I could order food.
I
can get around, but I can't have a long conversation. So
speaking of also in the Philippines, so you guys know Bruno Mars is half Filipino, right?
Yeah.
And his real name is actually Peter Gene Hernandez.
Really?
But that ain't gonna sell.
No. Bruno Mars will.
Yeah, Bruno Mars would. And we've been so ingrained to lose our identity to kind of, fit.
Like an identity,
yeah. So, and I don't know. I mean, whatever. The whiter you are, I guess, the more it sells.
Shit, I better be selling a lot right about now.
Damn,
what the hell's going on here?
No, but what I'm saying is, also, if you were to go to the Philippines right now, everyone speaks English.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody speaks English. You're not, some might be broken, but if you go to, the Metro Manila, I mean, it's practically almost their first language. It's
really?
Kind of crazy,
That's the same thing over in India.
Yeah.
The amount of English speakers in India.
Yeah, I think they just speak English anyways over there, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in India.
Yeah, but it's their education system is definitely focused on making sure you're bilingual. But
do they have a different language in India? What is it?
They speak Urdu.
Yeah.
Urdu?
Well, Hindi and Urdu.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you're here because I was about to say I don't know Indian. I
have no idea.
Well, my wife is East Indian.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's from Trinidad and Tobago, but she, like the prayers, she could say them in Arabic.
Okay.
But she can't. But she doesn't. But she can't read it or understand.
Right.
Speak it fluently.
Right.
I got a funny.
But she knows the prayers.
I got a funny story for you. So one time I was back in college. There was a professor there. His name was Professor Tanape. He was from India, and pretty decent accent, but he still spoke perfect English. But he was bilingual. And one time he was one of the art professors, and I worked at the art gallery. I gave people tours of the art gallery. One time we had a show for either Marc Chagall or Andy Warhol. But I wore like a full suit. I had like a trifold hat on. I didn't have like a suit jacket. It's just like a white shirt with a black tie, like a thin black tie. And he went up to me and was like, "Hey, I actually really love the style that you have right here. Would you be okay with me painting you?" I was like, "Yeah, that sounds awesome." So I ended up sitting in and with that exact dress wear, and he was doing a painting, or it was a different kind of material. I can't remember. But midway through, he says like, "Hey, thank you so much for doing this again. And I'm gonna treat you to lunch. Let's go out to lunch." I was like, "Cool." Heavy city driver scared the crap out of me while driving, but it was mainly this one part. Again, this man is from India, and we were talking about like stuff to go eat. He ended up saying, it was like, "Would you like to have some curry?" And I was like, "Actually, I don't think I've ever had curry." And this man almost wrecked the car. He was completely baffled. He was like, "You've never had curry?" Like, did a fucking U-turn. And then took me to a curry. The best curry I've ever had in my life, but it scared the shit out of me getting there.
Speaking of curry, is that Indian restaurant still open here?
I know a Bombay Bistro.
Bombay Bistro is still there.
And there was a
I don't eat
second one
curry.
my wife looked up, but
I don't
I
eat
can't
curry.
remember.
I eat curry all the time.
Yeah,
Well, so,
I need to go to Bombay. I need to take my wife there because I've been there once. Phenomenal.
But there's
I
a difference
loved
between
it.
Indian food and Caribbean.
Yes.
Indian food.
Yeah.
No, all curries. Like if you go to Thai, like their curry is different.
Yeah, I love Japanese curry.
Japanese curry.
I've
is
had
also
Japanese curry. Oh my
different.
But if you want something
Jamaican
spicy,
curry.
Indian
Yeah.
curry.
I cannot
Oh
eat
my
Indian
Man, the
curry.
hottest thing I've ever tasted was something Japanese.
Really?
Yeah. My mom one time made burritos,
Uh-huh.
and all she had was a Japanese chili. It was so hot
I
could barely eat it.
Good.
Oh my god! I was so hungry, I ate it. But man, that's the hottest thing I ever tasted.
Yep.
I just don't. I'm not a big fan of like Indian curry.
It's good.
I know, but I like spicy.
Yeah,
but
I'd have to be in the mood for it.
I just don't. I don't like the food that well. It's just not that good.
That's
to
a
me.
shame.
Yeah.
That's a shame. It's so good,
Yeah.
dude. I love lamb.
I think that's
I mean,
like
I love
butter-
lamb.
buttered
Well, in the
chicken.
Caribbean, they don't do lamb.
Really, what do they do?
Goat.
Goat.
They do chicken and goat.
How is goat? I've never
Oh my
had goat.
God. When
Goat's
you
good.
curry the goat, it is so soft. Oh my! I can't.
Yeah.
I'll eat too much.
Really?
Goat
Yeah.
is good. I've
never had goat.
is
And
good.
they both have roti, but in the Caribbean, or like even in Guyana or Trinidad or some other places, wherever there's East Indians, they have what they call dalpri. It's kind of like a tortilla, and they have like little these little pigeon peas. They like
Like
grind
chickpeas
them.
almost?
Yeah, I mean it's like between the layer.
Yeah.
Now I'm Mexican, so I'll just shake it,
Yeah.
and then start eating it. But they have dalpri. They have they call it busum shop. It's busum shop. Anyway, it's like a tortilla, and they beat it, and it's like shredded. It's like a shredded tortilla.
Look, this man will eat tortillas all day long.
Yeah, I love
I've
it,
seen
yeah.
it.
Tortillas are good, bro.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
I mean
Hey,
he'll just eat them as
Yeah,
a snack.
but I mean,
If I
Yeah.
want the best Mexican food in this town, where do I go?
oh, I don't know. I mean, it's really I mean, me personally, I go to La Casina in Hope
Okay.
Mills. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah, La Casina's good.
Yeah, right there on Millstone.
That's where the movie theater is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that place is good.
But I will go to on the border because they make the
Really?
tortillas fresh.
Yeah.
They have a machine that makes them.
I
and as a
cannot
Mexican
stand on the border
American,
anymore.
homemade tortillas are important to me.
That's what.
Because
Okay.
when I get a flour when I get a flour tortilla, I like smelling it,
Mhm.
and obviously that tends to be an American like Tex-Mex because I think in Mexico they make homemade corn tortillas. you know.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I'm
so,
not a big fan of corn tortillas.
So on the border has the best
I like them
tortillas.
with eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're
With
saying on the
eggs?
border has the best tortillas?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
How do you eat
Yeah.
corn tortillas with eggs? Like just like for
I
breakfast?
know it's just the texture of the corn with the egg. The grease of the egg.
Yeah.
It just tastes really good to me. I don't know.
Like do you scramble
Well,
the egg or do you
chorizo.
do it like a hard
I like
boiled?
a scramble. I like scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like scrambled eggs. Yeah.
Mm.
So you can do like a breakfast taco.
Yeah.
Then, really.
This podcast is getting me hungry.
I don't know. I'm starving right now.
No, but I mean, when it comes to Mexican food, man, I mean, like if you go to Mexico, the different regions they all compete with the different kinds of food.
Mhm.
Like I don't know, like there's one place that actually has better food. It just depends on where you're raised.
It's not
Honestly,
better. It's
like in
different.
Los
I think
Angeles,
also
like we.
t-
Yeah,
No, I'm saying like also too like whoever makes it.
yeah.
yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it depends on who.
It
the
does
cook
matter.
is.
It
like,
does matter.
Yeah, Juanita might make it better than
Yeah.
your grandma.
Like tamales.
Yeah, tamales.
you
Oh, I love
I've
tamales.
eaten
I'm really
all kinds
picky on
of
tamale. I know a
Ooh.
good tamale.
See, and
Where's
that's what I'm
where's a
saying,
good tamale at?
Well, the thing about tamales is that the secret is that when they're making them with the masa, they put the lard, the amount of lard, because when you get a tamale and you cut into it, if it falls apart, it's not good.
Oh,
It's the
too
one that's
dry.
Yeah.
the one that's solid. It looks a little shiny. Yeah, that's the one that they taste really good.
Nah.
Same with egg rolls too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have egg rolls all day long. It depends on like how it's prepared, what's in it. And
See,
Yeah.
I need to try a good egg roll. I've never been a fan of egg rolls.
You don't
It's
like?
just-
I love
I
egg
like
rolls.
spring
egg
rolls. I don't like egg rolls.
I love.
They're
I
too
like them
thick.
both. I like them both.
I like spring rolls.
I like spring rolls
Well, I like
too.
lumpias.
Yeah.
Yeah, lumpias are good. That's like a spring roll.
Yeah.
Right?
No, so a spring roll has a lot of vegetables in it.
Mhm.
Right.
There's hardly any. I don't even think there's any meat in a spring roll.
Not most of the time.
No. I
Yeah,
don't think
egg
so,
rolls
yeah.
have meat in it, so you can do ground chicken, ground pork.
Mhm.
You know, some people do ground beef. I've had it with ground beef, but it doesn't really taste the same.
Yeah, they like pork.
Yeah, we eat
I like
a
pork,
lot
too.
of pork
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So it tastes better with ground pork.
That was really good. I make some mean enchiladas.
Oh, I love
I
enchiladas.
love enchiladas. I always made the chicken dump for the potluck. Next time
Mhm.
I'll see if I can make some enchiladas. See what you guys think. But
Yeah.
I'll make some mean enchiladas.
I'm making me hungry
Got like
over here talking
got
about
like
all this food.
a cookbook from my church, and I flipped to one page, saw that. I was like, I gotta try it.
Yeah, everybody
I
does them
love the recipe.
differently. When I make enchiladas, each corn tortilla. I use corn tortillas,
Okay.
and then I put them in the fried oil like for about 2 seconds, just to get them soft, and then that way they taste better actually.
Yeah.
And then when you then I dip them in the enchilada sauce, and then that's when I put shredded chicken or with cheese and some onions, and then I roll them up.
I usually do beef. But,
Little
yeah.
pico
Oh, yeah,
de
beef.
ga-
Yeah,
Yeah.
beef's good too.
Little pico de gallo on there wouldn't hurt.
Huh?
Little pico.
Oh yeah, pico. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I gotta have a little jalapenos in mine.
Same with guacamole too. Like there's
Yeah.
certain
Mhm.
guacamoles are so good, and there's certain ones
Like-
that's like, ooh,
Yeah, you gotta have fresh guacamole.
yeah,
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
If they make when they make it at the table in front of you,
yes.
that
You know,
is
and when
always
It's
the
funny.
best.
I used to
Yeah.
hate
correctly.
guacamole until I actually had good guac.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When-
you got good quality. I don't like the big avocados.
Yeah.
They're too sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the ones that look like little grenades.
I usually prefer like the sweet. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I just love it when they make it right there, and you get the fresh jalapenos with it, the fresh onions, the lime,
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
cilantro. Man, damn, I'm hungry now.
So
Damn.
speaking of, I know that you're not coming to Fuel with us.
No, I'm not.
You're gonna come to Fuel with us.
Right.
And it's gonna be in San Diego this year.
You mind telling us real quick about what fuel is for
Yeah.
the viewers?
Go
Just
ahead.
real quick. It's
Look, you're the superstar.
Oh, geez. So Fuel is it's an annual gathering of all ERA agents. And this is where we network, where we learn. We've got speakers, we've got classes. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's like a real estate Comic Con.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's for,
there you go.
yes, it's for the ERA franchise. So, especially if you're new to a franchise or even new to ERA, I mean, this is like the way to learn about its culture.
And the
really.
speakers are going to be amazing this year.
Yes,
I'm-
I'm excited. I mean, it's Tom Ferry
Mhm.
and James Jared and God, everybody.
Well, Dan Elzer's going to be on there,
Elzer's
who
gonna
you've
be
done,
there.
who've done the podcast with him.
You know
yeah,
who
we
you
did
know who I
have a
wanna
podcast
meet?
with him.
You know who I like to meet? I like to meet Josh Altman.
Is he there?
You know who he is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's not there.
I'm unfamiliar. Who is he?
No, Josh Altman. He's a top realtor in Beverly Hills.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. You know how they had the multi-million-dollar producer on
Yeah.
TV in Beverly Hills? He was one of them.
Gotcha.
So-
Wow. All right.
Yeah, he's real ballsy.
I know, and here's the thing, right? Because our markets are different.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes what these multi-million-dollar agents do
Isn't-
isn't going to be the same in
When you're buying a $200,000 home.
correct or even in a military market. So I think they need to gather, not this field, but I'm saying like look at every military bases and see who really is the top producer in those bases and see what works for them, because there's a certain way of doing business in military town that's completely different from just doing it in a regular.
That's funny
city.
that you say that, because I was actually talking to Jay Lukey about this, and one of the categories I'm trying to push for next year is for the top military agent towns. So anybody that's in a military town, we're going to have them be up for an award for that, because
It's different.
it's a
yeah.
different
Yeah.
market. It's completely
Well, not
different
just that.
than anywhere else.
I mean, we like to say there's Fayetteville, there's North Carolina.
Yeah.
there's
It's
a
true.
there's a culture in the military, so
Correct.
we are
Yeah.
a little different than say the rest of the state.
I mean, we're not a Raleigh or a Charlotte.
No.
It's
No.
not. That's not even who we are at all.
No.
No.
And then, our the things that we deal with are PCS season. And
Mm-hmm.
for those of you who are watching who are not familiar with PCS season, this is the time when the military they get an order, and the military says, okay, it's time for you to go, and they move you to a different location, a different base. Now, this happens every 3 to 5 years, and sometimes some of them get orders a year after.
Yep.
And so some of the challenges that we face is, for example, if you just sold your client a home and then a year later they get another order, so they have especially if they want to buy somewhere else too. Sometimes you deal with, do they have enough equity in selling their houses, or
They got to rent it.
does it make sense to rent it out and stuff like that? But every year we have that because we have a high turnover rate in military towns because they're constantly moving. So the language that we speak and the things that we deal with are not the same as if you're living in Charlotte. Or so sometimes when people deal about multi-million-dollar listings, to us we're like, okay, well, that does nothing for us.
Cool. We have no buyers for that.
Right. And it's not like a general would say, okay, I'm gonna move back to Fort Sam Houston or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't get that. Usually a lot of retirees, they move to bigger cities because after they get out of the military, they have better employment opportunities. And I wish Fayetteville would have some sort of, better jobs so that we don't leave here.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Yeah, but most people that retire from the military,
They want to get out of the military.
no, when they are retiring or they're transitioning to retirement, they they tend to become a contractor on post.
yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of them are doing well. They get retirement, disability, got a great job. So I feel like it's a good gig.
It is. I mean, I mean, the military's brought my family a lot of money, so I mean, I can't ever
Right.
say anything bad about the
Right.
military.
And this
ever.
is the largest post
Yeah.
in the country.
Yeah.
Is it the largest now?
Well, it's population
One
wise.
of- yeah.
I know
think
Fort Hood.
Fort Hood
Hood.
Yeah.
is the largest landmass.
Yeah.
And it's the second largest population wise, but Fort
Fort Bragg.
Yeah, Fort Bragg. I'm gonna say Fort Bragg.
Fort Bragg.
It's Fort Bragg.
It's Fort Bragg. as
Look,
far as I'm concerned.
it's so hard for me to change so many years of it being embedded in my head
Yeah,
that it was
I
Fort
can't.
Bragg.
My dad was stationed here. I was
Well, you
stationed
know
here.
what-
My kids were born here.
Yep.
What's crazy is I went to Post recently, and a lot of the streets have been renamed. So a lot of the newer soldiers, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's on this street, this street." And I was like,
Huh?
"What the fuck is that?" And I was like, "What was the name it used to be?" And they said, "Oh, it's Gruber or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Then I knew where I
Yeah.
was. But did you know there's new
They,
names?
they
I didn't
changed the
know
road
that.
names?
Yes, there's new names.
Yeah.
I did not
Yeah,
know
they
that.
changed a lot of things.
New
You
names.
still have Nijmegen? Is that still there? Yeah.
They may have changed that too.
I don't
What
know.
I thought
know.
was really funny, like me personally, I didn't really care at all about the name change. My personal thought when I found out about it is I was like, that seems like a bit of a waste of money, but sure,
It
whatever.
is.
If you want to, I didn't look at it as like a big problem. I looked at it as like the rebranding, cool.
Right.
But I
Who
was
was
like,
it?
that felt like a waste of money, but whatever. And then they finally did it. They changed the names to everything. There was a petition going around to just drop one of the G's. I thought that was hilarious. And then I heard that somebody was going into office and that they were like trying to shoot for office. I can't remember who it was. But they said something about, it was like, yeah, well, if I'm in, if you guys elect me, one of the first things I'm going to do is change the name back. I was like, that's an even bigger waste of money. The problem's already done.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like even in real estate, right? You change companies.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand this. You change companies, that means a brand new business card, brand new signage,
Money.
brand new, your like anything that would brand you to that
The
particular
amount
firm.
of things that had I'm surprised we still have Bragg Boulevard. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that hasn't been changed.
They
Like
probably won't change that.
Like there is so you're right. There is so
There's a lot of
Well, we'll
changes
change
that
now.
cost a lot of
Yeah.
money.
yeah, because like what's funny is that when this was happening, I worked over at King Signs, a sign business. So signage was something I was very familiar with.
I think I've been
So
there
my
before, King
and we do
Signs.
Yeah.
and we did a
Dean.
lot of
Huh?
stuff.
Dean's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know Dean?
I do.
No, but
I
I think
played
I've
golf
been-
with Dean.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I went to Keen Science once, I think, or twice. I don't remember.
Yeah. That's where we used to work. Yeah. But
He
It
used
was
to be
really
over there
funny
on Rayford
because-
Road.
yeah, we had to
Where
change
the car
we had
wash
a
is.
fire.
Yeah,
there was
that's
a
where I
couple
went
times
there.
we had to
When
change.
he was on Rayford Road, I
Yeah.
went there.
Where
Yeah.
that new car wash is, that
Yeah.
was his place.
Oh,
Gotcha.
really?
Yep.
But
Oh, wow.
during that time, like it's a veteran owned place, and a lot of them were just
Yep.
kind of like, this is really stupid. But Dean at the same time is like, so you guys need to change out a bunch of signs, and we got business like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who woke up one day and just said, okay, let's just change it to whatever name.
Yeah,
I've heard
I
it
do know
costs
the
like
story as to why they changed it to Liberty. I actually met somebody who was part of the meeting.
Oh, I know why.
Yeah. There was like a when they were trying to figure out like who to name it after, because like the person Bragg, I'm not gonna get super into it, but back then Confederate soldier people didn't like it, and people are like waking up as like, oh, this is now a problem for some reason, and then they want to change it cause I don't know, but what they changed it to. They had a meeting and they were trying to figure out, there was like a public meeting. They were trying to figure out like famous generals to be able to name the base by. And then a woman stood up and said that my son didn't die in the army for some random dude. He died for liberty. And they were like, fuck it. And then that's what they went with.
Yeah, they told us that story at the chamber.
Yep.
Over here at the
Well,
stadium.
that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So like
instead
when
of-
I heard the story behind it, I was like, okay, I get it now. The one thing that actually does bother me to this day still, because I'm over it, I don't care. Y'all too, Fort Bragg. That's gone. It's y'all too, Fort Liberty. The freaking commercial on
Oh,
radio.
It doesn't sound right.
No,
It doesn't sound right. It
no.
sounds so weird. And I knew that was coming. And the day it happened, I like turned my radio off and I had a moment of silence. I was like, my heart.
I don't think I've ever heard that commercial.
Really?
I know.
Oh, yeah. What
Well,
was
I
it
don't
for?
listen-
Was it a
Yeah.
car? Was it for a
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Lumberton Honda.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh, Lumberton.
But I don't
Honda?
listen
Yeah,
to
DL
the radio.
driving $149 come down to Lumberton Honda. And then he just like started yelling.
You
at
know that
everybody.
commercial by heart, don't
Oh
you?
my god, dude! It's like the most famous
I don't
one.
listen to that film
and
no
he
more.
always
Yeah.
says like, "Fayetteville, Lumberton, y'all too, Fort Bragg," and they always had that like tin hut and the
Oh
soundbite.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But
When you said that
and
tin
that's
hut
such
thing.
a famous radio commercial. And then I
They had
just
a
knew
TV
when the
commercial
name
too, didn't
changed,
they?
I was like,
Huh?
they're gonna have to change
Yeah.
that.
They had a
eventually.
TV commercial, didn't they?
Maybe I'm
I
not
think they
sure.
did.
But like eventually they changed it, and I heard it on the radio. They said y'all too, Fort Liberty. I was like,
It doesn't
it's not the
sound
same.
right. Yeah,
It's not the same. It threw me off so badly, but I knew it was coming.
Man, I wish we had the TV channel like we used to have.
Which one?
We used to be on TV. All listings were on television. We had the ad channel.
We still do that with
Then they went digital, so they got rid of it. Way back then.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're
Man,
still wanting,
everybody knew how it was then.
hey, you still want to
Chive.
do that? Five
I
West
wish
can
they would
hook
do
you
that
up.
again,
we
huh?
we do that
Five
with
West can hook you up. We can do that for
Yeah.
you. We can do digital ads for you.
we do it on Chive too.
Yeah, so
Chive
this is a
TV.
great time for us to actually go ahead and bring in our sponsor real quick, Five West Media Group. We can do anything of digital ads. Johnny, make sure you paid attention to this one.
Okay, good. Yeah,
I got the hat on,
I can
too.
give you
Form,
on that.
digital marketing. We do pay-per-click ads. We do any form of digital ad, actually. We have geofencing. If you have a website, we can provide SEO for it. If you don't have a website, we can do web design. We have a graphic design artist in-house. We have videography and photography brought to you by yours truly, actually handling this wonderful podcast. We can do podcasts as well because, no shit. This
We're right here.
message has been brought to you by Five West Media Group.
Yeah, I love it. I got the hat on too today.
Yeah. God, I got to bring my hat. I need to get a new one. It doesn't fit my head.
Look,
It just keeps sliding off.
I cannot wait to see the ninja one we did today.
Yeah, we made a really stupid
The ninja
ninja
one?
video.
Yeah, we just did a new video for the ninja training.
Yeah, him
Oh,
and
is that when
Ricky.
you dressed like a
Yeah.
ninja?
Yeah.
Oh, my
We
God.
had so much fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you look pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect.
It's gonna be a goofy video.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are coming up
Yep.
on time. We didn't really want to make this a super long episode this time around because we all got a place to be, things to do, and people to see. So thank you guys so
And
much for
houses to
tuning in.
sell.
Yes,
And
houses to sell.
Houses
So
to sell.
before we go ahead and sign off, if you guys want to kind of give your
Yep.
best way to contact you.
Oh yes, the best way to get me is on my cell phone. It's 910-494-6689.
And for me, the best way to find me, because I get a lot of spam calls, is through social media. On Instagram, just look up Gray Hernandez.
We'll put it at the bottom for you.
Yep.
You,
And,
got you have social media too, Johnny?
He needs help
You,
with
you
it.
know, I know you.
Yeah, I need help.
I
Jordan.
got you. We also help with social media. All right.
Yeah.
And the best way to find Five West Media Group is just going to be right here in the office, 225 Ray Avenue. Just make sure you avoid the construction at the time of this filming. And you can always call us at 910-364-9191. And if you're looking for Josh, you can find him at Piero's.
Yep.
Thank
Not
you guys so
wrong.
much for tuning in.
All right.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Bye.
guys.